caused me to crash, but I think it should be said, and it's not that I'm a racist or anything, that I'm trying to come up with another reason. I mean, I don't want to use the word, but if we're going to use the word, let's associate it with the idea of what it was. And I really think it's a word that we probably should change into a pride word, to say that we're slaves. We're all slaves. We're slaves to sin. We're slaves to money. We have to make money to survive. We're slaves to this world. And that awful word that we don't want to say, the N-word, should define who we are. We're all that N-word. And I think that's the only way that we can get some kind of good to come out of that. Because if it's a bad word, then we're always going to be trying to avoid it, okay? But there are going to be people using it anyhow, and then it'll just become slur, you know. But it would be better for us to recognize that we got $20 trillion of debt. And every person owes about $60,000 in America. In the world, everybody's got debt. The whole world has got debt. Okay, we got a debt due to our sinning. We got that debt. If you're a Christian, that there's that debt, the debt of sin. And so, and there's no amount of money that can counteract the debt of sin. You know. And so we're all going to go to hell if there isn't somebody there to pay for that sin. And that's the idea with the Jesus, you know. But the thing is that Jesus wasn't simply one of us. Jesus was God with us. And so it was basically God leading Jesus. Jesus was man, but he was also God. And he was led through, handheld, and also did some faith stuff. But I mean, he was just basically told what to do and where to go and how to do things, and you know, and that certain things he even would say, okay, there's going to be a coin in this fish. It's going to be the first fish you come to, and you know, just say things outright, like, you know. It wasn't prediction. It was just that he knew that because he was told that was what's going to happen, or it was something he said was going to happen, and it happened. But it, you know, so those were just ideas that no person could do it. No person possibly could do that. Okay. So. And there's something in the Old Testament where they talk about the sabbatical year. And I have a hard time extracting stuff from the Bible. I'll tell you where I got this from. I got it from a study Bible. And the study Bible had stuff on the side that described the stuff that was in the Bible. So if I was to extract it from the Bible, it would probably be... I'm going to take it on the face that it was in the Bible. So I'd say that it was from the study part, but it said, okay, there was a sabbatical year, and the sabbatical year was a year that nobody was supposed to work, and if anybody was to work, they're to be stoned to death. And that, I think, the only that stoned to death bit, that's really just my idea about that is that nobody would really want to stone anybody to death. But if you were to take care of somebody who, I mean, if you wanted to put emphasis on something, because that's what we would do with our law, you follow the rules or you get put in jail. Stoned to death was just a way of dealing with it, because there was nowhere you could keep somebody tied up. You know, so that you either stoned them to death or you just, you know, forgave them. And if somebody was going to work, then they'd start demanding it out of the other people to work. And so the thing was just to let everybody know that we can't keep you in this community if you're going to go against this law. You know, it was basically just put some emphasis on it because they didn't have jails, you know. And so, I mean, I just now thought of that. I just didn't realize that until I just said it. Okay, yeah, they would have nowhere to stick you if you disobeyed the law. So basically, you stone people to death to just put emphasis on it. And I don't think the people would just be eager to do it, but it seemed like by the time Jesus was on the earth, people were willing to do it, you know. They were looking to do it. And Jesus was like going around to those people and saying, no, this is not the intent. The intent wasn't to go and punish people, it was to forgive them. And it was to be forgiving, but to make it known to them that this is not the way to go, you know. Was really kind of the intent. It wasn't to go out and you know, cut someone's head off for doing that, or, you know, whatever the punishment was. And we've known that in recent past that whenever any kind of law was, when people would put law into place in this country, they would have these really harsh penalties. They were doing stuff like quartering people. Even during the last 300 years, they quartered people in this country. And quartered is when you cut off, you basically disembowel a person while they're still alive. They're sitting on a pole and they're being disemboweled, and they're seeing themselves being disemboweled at the same time. That's quartering. And so they did that way back about the time that we got the revolution. They disemboweled some people that were trying to stick up for rights for black slaves, and some other people didn't believe it should be done. And there were Christians who didn't believe in slavery. They didn't believe it was biblical, and it wasn't biblical. The biblical slavery means that you had debt. We have debt now. If anybody's got debt, it's slavery. All of America has debt. Every person accounts for $60,000 of debt. When what's been keeping our country afloat is our selling of debt. Our currency is debt. We're basically trading the debt, and the debt that's making this currency, you know, that's permitting the currency to be moving around is these bonds, and eventually they're going to get paid back, you know. But we're basically passing around not money. We're not passing around gold, stuff backed by gold. We're passing around stuff that's backed by debt. So it's like it will become gold over time. It will come back as gold, but it's going to start out as debt. It's that stuff that everyone owes in America. And so we're all working to pay back the debt that is backing this money we're passing around. Okay, so it's like if it wasn't gold, if gold could go negative, that's what debt is, and so we're paying back the gold that should be there. Okay, so it's like if there was a treasury of gold over there, and they had gold in it, and the gold is gone. We're trying to put the gold back, but that's what our currency represents, is the gold that would be there, and it's us. We're the gold that are represented in that treasury. We're the guys who are going to pay back the debt, because by our living, we are working, we're producing money that pays taxes, and that's going to pay back the debt that currency represents. If we can't pay back the debt, then there's nothing in that treasury, and the money has no value. But as long as we're living, we are the gold in the treasury. See what I'm saying? So as long as we're alive, as long as we keep each other alive when we're here and we're able to work, we're going to be the treasure that backs our currency. And I just thought of that just now. I didn't. This is crap. You know, whenever I evangelize, I'm pulling it out of my ass. But I'm starting to figure out, oh, that must be the reason why this is what that means. Oh, yeah. They say we're basically trading debt, but I could never figure out what that meant. So, see? crazy shit, you know. But maybe the Lord says, okay, you got the word, but this needs to be on the front of the video. This doesn't need to be like somewhere later in the video, so that people get it the minute they hit the video. Okay. But what I was going to say is I was going to start saying, you know, say you call black people the N-word. You don't understand. They were not here. It was not their doing to be here, but they are more respectable as Americans than we are respectable as Americans. They were not made to come here, but they're the reason the Europeans came here is because they were not willing to come to an unfinished, an untamed territory unless they thought that they would live like kings and that they'd have servants. And that's the reason why there were black slaves here, is because somebody figured if we could get these aborigines or whatever, these people, these people over here, and we could get them to make them do what we wanted to, and we could keep them in control, we could make them servants. So, if you ever heard about Jeffrey Dahmer, you know, I've probably talked about Jeffrey Dahmer. Did you know this guy tried to take people? He'd get people, and he would try to engineer them to become sex slaves for himself. And that is, he would bind them in certain ways, and then feed them, but keep them alive just for sex. That's what we were doing to the black people. In our country, it was basically doing something unnatural to get people to come here and occupy America, to have farms, to clear the land and things like that. And they needed an incentive, and the incentive was black slaves. So black lives do matter much more than you can ever imagine. And so these people that say stuff like, well, you know, these black people don't like living here, you know, they weren't here to begin with, well, go back to Africa. Let's put it this way: we're all the N-word, we're all the nigger. Each one of us is a nigger because we all owe $60,000 of debt. And whenever we get out of that debt, we can stop calling ourselves the nigger. White, everybody in America is a nigger, okay? And the reason why is because we're all slaves. We're all slaves. By biblical terms, we are slaves. We are in debt. The country is in debt, 20 trillion, and we have to pay back this debt. So by the biblical word, we are slaves. And if you want to use the N-word, use it in that context. That will make it more positive, because then we'll start to realize that we're using the biblical context. We're not using the, and I would say that the black slaves in the past there were slaves against their will. It was basically, we were raping people. We raped a whole culture, a whole race of people. We took all these black people from Haiti and whatnot. We raped every single one of them. We forced them to do things that they shouldn't, that it wasn't, you know, it was irresponsible. It was a large irresponsibility. It was us saying that we knew better for them. And I mean, we brought them here. Maybe in our mind we were thinking it would be better for them to be with us than to be over in Africa, like throwing spears or whatever they were doing over there. I don't know what they were doing. They could have had a civilization that was better than what we had. We just didn't interpret it. We didn't know. We couldn't make heads or tails of it. We didn't understand them. And that's the problem with racism, is it's a one-sided ignorance. It's not being able to identify with somebody else as being like yourself. That's what racism is. Psychopaths are beyond racist. They're a superset of racism, and that is they don't identify with anybody, even other psychopaths. They're the only person in their universe that's like them. Everybody else is not like them. Okay. So that to feel empathy for another person is to them is just like, you know, what empathy? What the hell is empathy? You know, and then you say love, and you say, what the hell is love? You know, and you'd have to give answers to that, and they don't understand. If you cut somebody's arm out, it says, you say, okay, what if I went over here and I scratched this person? What would you feel? And they'd say, what? And so, okay, what if I cut off this guy's arm? And I say, wow, that guy's arm just came off. They wouldn't feel anything. They don't feel anything. They don't identify with you. They don't even see you as being like them. So when people went to Africa to get the black slaves, they didn't see them as people like themselves. They saw them like animals, you see, because they couldn't identify them as being human, which is really stupid. But that's, we just don't know how ignorant our ancestors were, how just stupid. Our education system only came about pretty much in the last 100 years or 200 years, and not very many people knew what was written in the Bible until after the Gutenberg press. A lot of it people just got their word from the Bible from the priests in the cathedrals and stuff. You go to a church mass or something, you would get some bit of the Bible, and that was all you had to go on. You couldn't read it because they wouldn't let people touch those books, I'm sure. And there wasn't much in the way of education. People didn't live to be beyond, say, 35 years old. They didn't live to be 60 or 70. That was a big rarity. More than 100, 200 years ago. That was fairly rare. So, people would start having families at age 13 or 14. They would have schooling up to about 11 or 12, and that would be it. There wouldn't be any high school. Just enough to be able to read and use some math. That was about it. That's all you got. There was no scientists 100, 200 years ago. I mean, there were people playing around with ideas and getting inspiration from each other, but it'd be more just like going to a tech school than going to a university, actually getting a complete degree. These days, they have to have a lot of stuff to identify something as being a curriculum, a set of courses. And whenever I took computer science, I don't think they really could have defined what I learned as a bachelor's degree. It should have been an associate's, because a lot of it was just learning languages. And if you teach a course on how to write languages, then the other stuff is bullshit. It's like, what did I learn all this other stuff? And you could have just given me this. The reason why is because they need to fill out that space and make you take a lot of stuff to see whether or not you're really going to do it, if you're going to really use it. And these days, the companies, they just need certificates to see that you've written in certain language. If they want a designer, they'll hire a designer, but most of the people they are searching for people that can basically maintain the they want people to be able to maintain what already exists and keep it running. Okay, they don't want people creating new shit, innovating. And that's conservative. That's what conservative is. It's keeping the new shit around. Don't create any new stuff. Just keep the stuff that we've got around. And keep that going. But sometimes you do need new stuff. And the stuff that I would say that's really a bad idea for innovation is trying to make people live forever, and artificial intelligence trying to do the things that our brains should be doing. Because we don't know what something that doesn't have our limitations will do with the same neural activity as us. If we just look at each other and see if we can't live with each other, how could it? And so that's a clue as to the reason why you don't want to implement it. You don't want to go that distance. We got a nuclear bomb, and we are pretty sure now we could have done it without the bomb, but now that we have the bomb, it's kind of like we're going to be in this state of just trying to maintain civilization and try to just see if anybody is stupid enough to use the bomb and destroy everything, all existence on the planet. And then you kind of have to think to yourself, if people just live in fear all the time, what would anything get done? And the thing is that people don't live in fear all the time. And I mean, only the government does, and the government is what keeps, and the politicians are always just trying to keep us fearful, and that's what Satan wants us to do, is to be always in fear, to always be fearful of the future, fearful of this group of people over here, fearful of that. Politicians do that mainly because 80% of the time we think they're the problem. So if they can keep us distracted, then they don't have to deal with that, and they can actually do real work, stuff that needs to get done, so that other people are thinking about building the wall, and Trump's kind of like off trying to do something serious. He might go out and say some crazy stuff, but that's probably just like me saying crazy stuff. You don't think about it too much. It's just gut feeling. It's just what you're feeling. It's not what you're thinking, And when you think along about something, and then you go, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this, but then it was probably a technique that he learned. One of the things that I've determined is if you act crazy on something like Twitter all the time, then anybody who has any reason to disagree with you will come out and disagree with you, and then the people that you don't want to be around. So the people you want to be around are the people that are kind of can see through it. They can see that you're not that person, because he certainly is not that crazy. He couldn't be that crazy to have that money. But I do believe that he's not very forgiving. And I think if he had some humility, it probably would help. But then again, if you show the attributes of empathy, and you're a leader, there are people that are around you that are psychopaths and sociopaths, and they'll use you if they think you have emotion. So if you're crazy, that's probably a good way of getting rid of those people, saying that you can't determine what I'm going to do. I'm crazy. That's what McAfee does. He says he's the guy that likes to eat the dung from prostitutes' ass out of a hammock is what he claims. And the only thing I can imagine is this is what you need in order to see eye to eye with psychopaths and sociopaths that would be up in those high ends of the government. I'm not going to go up there. I'm not going to be a part of that, because I know that those guys are up there, and the only time they're going to have anything to do with you is whenever you're getting into their pie. So, and if you look at what I'm saying right now, it's not getting that many hits. Satan has every reason not for me to get heard, but I'm still going to put the stuff out there. And maybe when I'm dead, it will get taken, and maybe it will go somewhere. But I'm not going to put too much value in it. I'm just going to continue to do the thing. What I think, put some sense into it. You can take it or leave it. I'm not saying that this is the truth. I tell you all along, I'm pulling it out of my ass. I don't know how in the world I came up with it. There are people that'll say to me and says, "This guy really knows what he's talking about." And I'm like, I guess. There's certain things I know, there's certain things I don't know, and there's things that I just assume about. The guy I had this history teacher that said I assumed something. He says, "Well, you know what? When you assume, you make an ass out of you and me." And this was a guy that smoked pot and was keeping it secret from the administration that he was smoking pot. And then I had another instructor that was trying to get us to do these really impossible these impossible things in class. We were trying to create a film with 10,000 frames. But I think if it weren't for that class, I probably wouldn't have taken video editing or anything else, you know. So I'm gonna. So it didn't stop my broadcast. It just stopped me from. Maybe I'll get back into the game, but I think it should bring me back. If it does, and then I'll just quit the thing. But the thing is we'll see what it does. Anyhow, she was doing cocaine. And but if it weren't for her, I probably never would have tried to do anything involving film. It was kind of inspiring to see that you could animate something on film without ever, by just using magic markers on celluloid film, you know, which is what we did. And you just draw little pictures on the little frames of a film reel and play it back. And if it weren't for that, I wouldn't been able to, whenever I was trying to do an animation, write storyboards up, you know. Did you know that George Lucas storyboarded all of Star Wars before he ever shot it? You have to do that because you have to be able to plan how much footage you're going to use, because then if you don't know how much footage you're going to use, then you're not going to be able to get the funding for it. You're not going to know what kind of props you need in the shot. You don't need to know, but also by storyboarding, you also can remove a lot of scenes that probably don't really need to be there to tell the story. So then you can drop storyboards. It's a form of blueprinting it's a form of making a blueprint or a flow chart for a program. Giving an idea of what kind of things the program needs to be able to do and what modes you need to be in and things like that. That's what storyboards are. People that screenwrite, you know, and they're going to go and when you try to make money for a movie, you have to be able to tell them in like 30 seconds what the movie is about, kind of the basic plot of the movie, you know, in 30 seconds or less. And the less time it takes for you to do it, the better chance of you getting money out of it. And it has to be something that's unique. So if a Rock Me Amadeus is a 30-second pitch, I'd basically say I take YouTube and I make it act like television. I make it time synced like television so that people can share it socially over the internet. It isn't accurate, but it works. And that's Rock Me Amadeus. It does a bunch of other stuff, but I have to customize it. So and if I added to it, I probably could add that it does what YouTube can't do, or YouTube doesn't do, and that is make the playlist equiprobable. Give every video equiprobable chances of being viewed by the audience. And you say how you can prove that is because people are going to come in at random times and watch the feed, and the feed is going to be always playing. So the chances of you getting anywhere in the film are going to be equiprobable across all the videos. So there's a better chance that you're going to see the content in the playlist than you're going to see on YouTube, where it's either going to be a shuffle mode, but it's not going to be socially shareable, so you lose that. Now, YouTube could do that if their shuffle used a seed value, and everybody gave that seed value for the shuffle when they and so you started off with the same seed value, and everybody uses it. But then it would have to also be playing all the time, you know. So when you start playing it, it doesn't play from the beginning. See. So mine is socially shareable. That means multiple people can. There are a lot of people can be watching the same playlist and seeing the exact same videos, and it's the exact same shuffle. I could change the order of the shuffle by changing the seed value, so that people could be watching the same stuff, but it would just be a different shuffle on the existing playlist. That's something I'm thinking about adding. But all these different ways of playing stuff in a playlist are things that my brain just kind of like, from using it, it's things you want to do and things you know how to do because you're a coder. The normal consumer doesn't know these things because they don't code. If you're a coder and you want something, you're going to know better what can be done with the computer than the person who's just a normal average consumer. And nobody probably would have ever come up with these ideas unless they had had all the experiences in their life that I had. And so I've touched on, I'm a jack of all trades, and I've touched on a lot of stuff, but I've never really done anything wholeheartedly all the time, except for my main interest, which was to try to make kind of VJ, DJ type stuff with music videos, and because I like watching music videos, like in the old MTV style, where everything, you didn't know what was coming on the tube next, and that unpredictability is a sign of success, because if it was predictable, then it would be like the way YouTube is now. You would see the stuff you want to see. You wouldn't see anything that was just like off the wall, and YouTube, their AI tries to force that, but it doesn't work. So, because you'll wake up and you'll go, what the fuck? It's talking about the conspiracy theory or UFOs and things. And unless you're into that, it's not something that's very interesting. I would rather have playlists full of stuff that I recognize and stuff that I don't recognize, and that I recognize is from that period, from the 80s or wherever. And then I go, oh wow, this is the first time I've ever seen this 80s video. I didn't know they did that, That's the kind of stuff that I want, and the reason I didn't get it the first time around is I just didn't see it, Other people saw it, So not everybody sees everything, and the problem with YouTube is that a lot of the video content they have on the site never gets seen because there isn't anybody there to curate it or to put in a playlist, and the way they present the playlist is not optimal. It's not the best way. It's not equiprobable. That's for hell sure not the case. And it's not socially shareable, which my site does, and all I'm doing is I'm just doing a different presentation of their own content. So we're gonna go and I guess go to Amarish. I think I'll get something to eat, something to drink, then come back. And the reason why I'm like this is because I already masturbated and already come. And when you masturbate and come, your brain fills with dopamine, you become excessively chatty. That's the reason why people who do cocaine is so that they become really chatty. Politicians do that so that they can talk in front of public, in front of lots of people. They'll do cocaine, and it'll give them a sense of well-being, and they won't feel like, I'm screwing up here or there. Just the crap comes out of their mouth, And I don't know. I don't think Trump does cocaine, but he's doing something. he's doing something. You don't know what it is. He's probably doing the same thing I'm doing, But he's probably having somebody else do it for him, But that's the thing is that when you do anything that gives you dopamine, you're going to be chatty, and it's because the good and the bad doesn't really matter to you. It's just like you'll say it. You'll say it like it is, and it seems like everybody wants that. That's the reason why they were all for Trump, is because he was just saying exactly what he was thinking. Not that it was good. It was just that he wasn't holding anything back. And I think people are just getting tired of people who save face. But Trump saves face like nobody's business. He said, "Oh, I didn't say that." Oh, he'll never apologize for anything. And That's a sociopath trait. Is just uh, there's like a number of these attributes, like feelings of grandeur, um, uh, great high self opinion, saving face, and you know, lack of humility and things of that sort. So I'm saying that if I was a sociopath, I was a really bad sociopath, because I'm telling you stuff like that I masturbate. You know, my mom doesn't like me saying that, but I'm not afraid. If I was afraid, then I would be easily controlled by Satan. You know, but since I'm not afraid, it's really difficult for him. And the people who are going to be listening to me are probably the people who should be listening to me. They'll probably have something bad to say about me, but the way I fix that problem is I just don't hear them. I don't read them. When I'm in the game, I might read some text on there. They might put something up there, but it's not going to matter to me. It's I've already said enough about myself that would make me embarrassed of myself, and now that I've said it, then somebody else saying it's just like, well, yeah, I said that the other day in my broadcast, and so then they don't really have anything to say bad about you, because you've given them all the bad stuff to say. And but then you got a lot of this other good stuff that's getting said along the way. And I mean, how far down the rabbit hole you want to go? I mean, how much do you want to dig up? Because I've got all interlaced with everything that I've said. I've got all this stuff from the Bible, and nobody wants to chase it, you know. And that's the reason why, because they're afraid that if they dig into it, they're going to start finding stuff in the Bible, and then they're going to start having concerns about their own behavior, because if it rings true, it's going to hurt. And so it's, you know, there's parts in the Bible where they said like this guy took a scroll in his mouth, and it tasted sweet at first, but then started to taste bitter. Or that it had a tongue, but the tongue was cut both ways. You know, that's the word. That's what it does. It's. I have a hard time reading the Bible, because then there are a lot of stuff that I'll just take to heart, and it's hard to listen to. You know, that's just the way it is. And I'm not saying that I can do it. I'm just saying that I'm not perfect, and you know, maybe at all, if I could offer anything as an insight, that's all I'm offering. Nothing else, really. I'm not really saying. I'm saying that all these opinions people have in the world, they're fairly shallow, and it's really because they want to live a life they want to live. They just don't want to have any. They don't want to know anything. They want to live the way they want to live. And I'm the same way. I want to live the way I want to live, but I also have some ideas that might help. And in that, then maybe something out of that could come that was positive. You know, rather than just making stuff up, than just following your nose. Because if you're going to look for stuff, if you're going to look for a way to do things, it's going to get developed over time. It's going to, as you hit mistakes, and you're going to start changing your law. And if you look at all of the laws that men have created for themselves in the world, there are crazy stuff in those laws. And it's because of some certain incident that happened, and it just made sense to put that little rule in there. But over time it loses its relevance, and then it becomes just this crazy rule that just has been in there for maybe 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, 100 years, and there's just following it for no reason. The Bible isn't like that. The Bible, all that stuff was there 100 years ago. It was there 200 years ago. It was there 500 years ago. It was there 1,000 years ago. Very little of that has changed. And so even if it got past 200, it's still fairly relevant, okay? The Book of Mormon is like maybe 200 years old. It might pass, but still, those guys are crazier than the Christians. And people don't understand that the Book of Mormon is different from what all the other Christians. It's like supposed to be like an update, but most Christians won't even accept it. It's Mormonism. It's a cult, as far as a lot of the Christians are concerned. They kind of look at it and say, well, it would be interesting if that actually do fly, but maybe in 100 years it probably won't go anywhere. It probably only last as many as 3 or 4 generations, then it disappears. People just don't believe it anymore, you know. Maybe that's the reason why they're focusing so much on creating just this database of, like, I mean, that's the big public offering that Mormonism has to the world, is this gigantic database of genetic ties, you know, or you know, they've got the best, what do they call them? They got the best, I forget what they call them, but it's the one where you're looking at your family tree and you're trying to trace it back. They got the best databases for that stuff, because they do that for their entire congregation, for everybody, that all their membership. They try to tie them back to somebody to show that maybe an ancestor was a Mormon, or I don't know, or that they all trace back to Christ or whatever. I don't know what the purpose for that is. But the feeling I get about it is that from the surface, from my perspective, is like, I know a guy who was Mormon, and he stopped being Mormon. I don't know if he was Mormon, maybe he was a Baptist. He stopped being it because he was doing door to door. He was saving people door to door, you know, they go and knock on their door and say, do you have Jesus Christ in yours? All that. And his wife, or the girl that he made his wife, or they were going to get married, opened up to him as being a lesbian, and then she found the love of her life and went off in her direction. It was enough for him to stop, to kind of bring that between him and God. And then he just stopped following that stuff, you know. He just said, well, if this can happen, then I can't really trust God or something. And I mean, I don't think I'm going to let Satan throw anything up and say, well, you know, God's had it with you. And I think as long as I've got the Word, then I'm still there with God. God's still there with me, because the Word is God. So if I'm in the Word, if I've still got the Word in me, then God must still be in me. It could be just a really crazy thing that I just said, and it probably doesn't ring true, but maybe something else will come about and say, well, that can't be true, because this is, you know. But if what I say is so crazy, and there are like 100,000 other people beside me that will go and listen to some evangelist telling how that they could say the prosperity prayer and make lots and lots of money, and I know the reason why that can't work, then how rare is it for someone like me to be around, you know, compared to like 100,000 people to do that? But there's still a small percentage of the total population of this country. And one thing I know is that Satan will come through people's fears. Anytime somebody is either, and there are people who are just demons anyhow. You wouldn't even know them, and they sometimes people are easily. It's easy for them to say stuff, just like I'm saying. So the stuff I come from being, how can I tell it's true or not? You know, don't. So. But at least I'm letting you know what I think, and if what I'm saying is untrue, then somebody who's listening to me will probably say that it's untrue. So maybe if you're listening to this and you got somebody who's a Christian nearby and they're listening to me, they might say, well, that's, you know, this is kind of profound. That's not so profound. So maybe the best thing is that new Christians or new people who might be trying to look for Christ probably shouldn't listen to me. I would say the people that probably should listen to me is probably the people that are Christians, that do read the Bible and are looking for looking for something else, or trying to find something else. And I've got ideas over in that direction, but it's not to lead you away. It's to try to figure out some way that people might become more acceptable to you, that you might be able to get past what you see in the Bible and start to see things in the Bible that you didn't see before, you know, like what I just said about why you would need to stone people. I mean, how are you going to keep them? How are you going to keep them locked up? How much money are you going to, I mean, to keep people in prison, it's a full-time job. And how Rome kept people in prison is they would tell the jailers that if you lost any of your prisoners, it's your life. So is it their life or their prisoner's life? I mean, they wouldn't kill the prisoners, but they wouldn't let them go free either, you know. And because if they went free, then it would be their life, you know. So there may have been some times in the past when jailers would just let the prisoners go free if they were Christians, and so that there wasn't any reason for them to be there. They might try to let them go free and get killed for that. So that's a form of martyrdom, you know. But what I'm doing is I'm just, as I play in this game, I offer clues as to different approaches and strategies. I just like thinking about stuff, and I'm kind of outside the box because I'm really bad. I'm sort of a really bad person, you know. I am a bad person, okay? Or I'd rather say that than to say that I'm a good person. I'd say I'm a bad person, okay? And so I'm a bad person. It's got the word in me. That's which would say that I was probably good, but I don't believe it. Okay. I want to get out of the world. I don't want to do it by taking the easy way out. I want to. You know, when my life is over, I just don't want to exist. I don't want to go to heaven. If it's required, then I guess, yeah, I'll go to heaven, but it's not my preference. My preference is just not be tortured for eternity. And I didn't want to be here in the first place. What I would say, the thing I'm saying is, I didn't sign up for this. I didn't want to be here. I knew that from my experience of being here now, I don't really want to be here, okay? And I think for a lot of people, that's pretty much rings true. And I think the people that really want to go to heaven, those are the ones who really want to go to heaven. I just don't want to exist, you see? That's my answer to it. And all I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to reason how in the world that could ever be possible, if at all, and why eternal torture is necessary. I don't think it is. I think a lot of people know that kind of sounds far-fetched, but I don't believe it is. And I think the reason why it is such a case that eternal damnation, all that stuff is necessary, is for the same reason that you don't want people going around doing bad stuff all the time, you know. You want them to feel that there is a penalty there, you know. Just like you need to have people stoned to death. I think it was a clue that God didn't want you stoned to death. But you got to keep the things true. I mean, the stuff he says, he doesn't want it to fall thud and then people just not follow it. So then he puts little penalties in there that if any of these guys don't follow it, then you should stone them to death, because there's no way you're going to be able to keep them in a jail. And how else are you going to kill them that's going to keep people's empathy working? You know, if everybody's throwing a stone at the person, then nobody's really responsible for killing the guy. Everybody was responsible. And so no one person is responsible for killing Jesus. We're all responsible for killing Jesus. See? And that way, it's easier, and it's easier whenever. But the thing is that you're also going to start to recognize the sociopaths and psychopaths, and those are the guys that really enjoy the sport of killing people with stones. Okay, and that would create a social distancing system that would help people realize when they really wanted to escape such individuals, because those individuals are going to figure out how to create hierarchies, how to create justice systems, judicial systems, and try to get people to fall in line. I would say that the people that we've got in jail, a lot of them are more sane than the people that put them there. You know, it's that there are people that have a job to keep people jailed up. And when bad stuff happens, it's easy enough for us just to say, well, we can find the guy. When we can't find the guy, and then what we usually do is we just put somebody in jail who doesn't really belong there, just to satisfy our conscience. And that's sick. But that's the way this world is. And that's the reason why I don't want to be here. But I don't want to take the easy way out. I'm going to take the hedonistic approach, which is kind of get the pleasure out of it that I can, and maybe at the end of it, I get out. But I'm not gonna get the pleasure out by doing evil to other people. I mean, really making people's lives a living hell. I'm not going to go and destroy. I'm not going to try to destroy and although we've done that to each other, and I've done it to people, I just don't want that to be the norm for me to go and ruin people's lives. And the reason why I masturbate is to avoid diseases, and to not get involved in families, because I'm not sure that I could take care of children. You know, I've never been able to take care of pets. It isn't that I was cruel to the pets. I'm just not very good at managing stuff like that. So if you can't manage pets, how could you manage people? I mean, I don't think I could do that. I can't even manage myself, much less. I have like all this knowledge and all this ability and stuff, and these thoughts and stuff, but I'm very distracted. I'm easily distracted, and so therein lies probably the problem at hand, is that I'm easily distracted. But I have ideas, and maybe someone will benefit, maybe not. Maybe nobody benefits from it. Maybe they don't benefit from it in this lifetime. I like Van Gogh. I like his paintings, but I don't think people really liked his paintings in his lifetime. because there was so much stuff at the time that looked like his stuff. You know, his stuff survived because it had a style that was not like anybody's. But if you go back and you look at the alternative rock band era, there are certain bands that stuck out, and there were a lot of bands that sounded the same, and you probably wouldn't be able to distinguish one from the other unless you were really in the know. So it takes time for people to recognize talent. You know, it's not going to be instantly obvious. And in our world, we have a tendency that we have this record system where these people, they go out and look for talent, and they probably only find 10% of the talent. They probably don't find the 90% that's out there. And it's either because the people that have the talent didn't try hard enough, or they did try hard enough, people just ignored them all the time. It's just like Rodney Dangerfield. He didn't really get to be a popular comedian until he changed his name. You know, something stupid like that can make you. But I wouldn't put too much value in it, making it. And I know that a lot of the stuff that I talk about, and nobody's ever going to look at it. I don't even look at my own stuff. I mean, for me, it's just psychotherapy. It's just like going to a psychologist. You say it to yourself, and then you go, "Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, that is me. Yeah. Right." Nobody's going to want to interview me if I've said everything I'm going to say. You know, they may interview me, but look, they've already got the information out of me. What is it that they need to have me on the show for? If I already put it out there, they could just quote from it. You know. So yeah, he said this back in that time. If I'm inconsistent across time, then I'm probably just like everybody else. You know. But anyhow, I'm going to quit this for a while, and I think I'm kind of done with this for tonight. I might focus on my website. I might come back, but it's because I'm extra chatty, because I just got off. I just whacked off like earlier this morning and got off. I cummed a lot, you know. And I I said, I think the reason why I cum so much is because I eat so much sardines. So if you want to cum a lot, eat lots of fish. Eat sardines. Eat bunches of cans of sardines. You will cum a lot if you eat bunches of cum. I've never been able to cum as much as I have at my age. In my youth, I never cum this much. And so it's got to be sardines. So. Well, I guess I did come back, didn't I? Maybe I'll go out and do something. I said I would go away. So, do I have a viewership? Yeah, it's recording. Somebody might come in and say something. Maybe the sandbox organizer, the guy who's managing the sandbox. Just making sure that I'm okay. I'm doing fine. Okay, let's find something to do. Something on Planetside to do. Oh, VS not living all that well. Maybe they are. They're out there having a nice fight over there at the. They need me over there. That's what they need. Hi, they need me everywhere. No, I'm just messing. They're Bastion. And how in the world am I going to get out of Bastion? It won't even let me spawn down there. There's going to be some fun at Araxis pretty soon. Yeah, there's going to be some real fun at Araxis. Maybe I'll go to Araxis and have some fun there, Because if they get Araxis, then there's no point in having the Bastion in it at all, All they had to do is take Araxis firearms, and that's it. Whoever's at the Bastion, they're out on their own. There's like nobody here yet. Well, we'll just make it a... I know how to fix that one. This will be a fun one. Watch this. I'm going to go to Bastion, and I'm going to tell to the enemy. It says, "Hey, nobody's covering Araxis firearms." And then everybody will go, "Oh, shit." I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I swear I'm going to do it. I mean, I don't know how much time we got left on the clock, but I mean, we should be covering it because nobody's covering it. Nobody's down there. The enemy need to be coming in and taking that one on. No, I think I'll go down there. I'll just, if I see that it's going to be a problem, then I'll just say that. Because I think that's kind of what the other guys are thinking is that, come on, don't mess it up for us. We're having a fun time there, and we're shooting it up, and nobody really cares about winning that much, and they just want to have a first-person shoot-a-thon. They don't want to be out ghost capping. Yeah, it's not much fun. Want to shoot it up with the noobs. But you know what causes this game to crash so much? This is exactly what causes the game to crash. The more interaction you have with individuals in this game, the more it'll crash. And it's because it's a memory memory leak, and the memory leak is made such that it has to allocate stuff, and then it has to deallocate, and somewhere in that it's losing the memory to allocate, and so eventually it has no memory to allocate and crashes. And that's the reason why it crashes, is because there's no more memory left to allocate, and all it can do is either just quit or, says that's it. That's as far as I can go. And it's called a memory leak. And it's because it's probably a result of the libraries they're using. It has nothing to do with what they're using in their software. It's probably something that they've used for such a long time. It's become legacy technology, and nobody wants to rewrite it, and they can't find anybody to rewrite it. They're using it. They don't see any reason to develop again. And the creditors don't want them to spend the money to redevelop it because it's not their interest. Their interest for them to make money, and as long as the people are still in the game playing it, then it can't be too bad to have it. And I think if people just stopped playing the game, and that was the reason why, then it would justify them to go out and actually spend the money to try to figure out how to get this thing fixed. It's probably a lot simpler than what they're thinking. It may be a matter of them talking to somebody that's working with using AI to decompile binaries back into source code, and they could at least decompile enough of it to figure out where the memory is, where the memory is getting lost, and then they can make necessary assembly adjustments to the executable to fix it. That would be the thing to do. And so you're basically going into the library trying to figure out what it's actually doing, and then making binary modifications to the executable code that will fix the problem. And it probably could be a lot easier doing that than actually going and getting access to the source code and making the modification there. So there are probably people out there that can do that kind of stuff, and it's just a matter of them finding and consulting with those people. So I'm going to put up one of these guys to see how all of a sudden they just show up on the was that mine, or was that me, or was that Memorex? I don't know. It seemed like they just all of a sudden appeared. So, and then one thing I like to do is throw some proxies out, and if they kill you here, then you know. So one thing I like to do is I like to throw out an ant, and then I'll take the ant. I did this yesterday. I just put the ant like somewhere in between here, just like right there, and that's that. You know, they're gonna get shown up pretty well if there's anybody there. There we go. I could do this a little more, have a little bit more fun with this. Go down the edge of the thing and see who actually tries to shoot at me, because they know that if I'm out here with one of these, I'm going to find out where their spawn is, because I'm an ant. See. Yeah, it's coming from over here, but how far is it out here? Is it here? No, it's right there. It's a Sunday in this area. So the guy's finding out right now where it is. It's just, yeah, there's the Sunday, see? So he just figured out where it was. But that's the reason why you want an ant around, is because they're a half Valkyrie. They're like a Valkyrie, and people just aren't used to the idea that this is your metal detector. This is the guy that's finding the as I said, you know, they just needed me to be there, you know. Needed somebody that had an approach, had a methodology to apply. So I'm the game engineer. I'm the guy that, whoa, I just ran over somebody. What was that? That was kind of funny. Somebody just fell underneath my wheel. I don't know where these people come from. So let's see if there's anything out here, maybe. How's it going? Hey. Yeah, you know, I was seeing a lot too. Well, not that much. Not as much as you have. Yeah, they're probably going to be down here. Yeah, this is more than you expected, doesn't it? We're just taking this back to the source, you know. So I'm gonna So I'm like smoking, and maybe somebody will come over here and try to do something about me. So it's kind of like sending out a signal. Come and get me, I'm vulnerable. But I'm sitting behind a rock. So it gives somebody a special something they want to try for. No, will you cover for it? You're not the only guy that has a fast gun. I have a fast gun too. This guy is right here. There you go. Guys, you can shoot at these mosquitoes. Regular bullets hurt these guys because they're not in... They're light vehicle. They're not... Like, if anybody gets an idea to do this, what the world turn to? You know, that's what they're thinking. People would be using cobalts to take down mosquitoes. See, he's still doing it. He's still trying to take me out. He's wondering if I can do it from this distance. You just be glad I don't have a Ranger. I just killed a mosquito with cobalt. I'm getting out of this thing. He's gonna come back. Nobody's fixing me either. I guess I could just go over here and get a... It's like, no love for the ant who helped you find the vehicle, and they're just like over here. I'm gonna go and get myself a... I'm gonna do a light assault thing. Because we really don't need the ant anymore, that's the... So... Am I still recording? Yeah, I'm still recording. Okay. So this is my trick. I'm a one-trick pony. One trick that all the sports can do. I'm a one-trick pony. Okay. So notice how everybody's been trying to get over here, and they're just not having much success doing it. They're not looking up, are they? I can drop right on the I'm on it. They're freaking out. Yeah. And that just make it a little bit easier for our team to get there, to see that somebody got there. Then they answers the question, hey, maybe I could do it. You see, I'm going to do it again. just make them look up a little more, because, you know, that's what they tell you, you know. When life's getting you down, you just gotta look up. Even when you think you got it made, maybe you should look up. There might be somebody up there. Might be me, might be God, I don't, you know. Somebody's gonna be up there. Maybe that's the reason why this thing exists, is so that I'll exploit it, and so that they'll give somebody a reason to listen to me, maybe, I don't know. So that there's different ways of solving problems, you know. Some of them just not, just like, what was it, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they were basically these kids who were in a furnace, and they were not supposed to be there. And they're in the furnace, and they survived the furnace. And the king who had put them there realized he was worshiping the wrong God. You know? So, I'm not great with guns, but I can do some cool stuff. That was the wrong place to put that, wasn't it? Look, they haven't even come back for my aunt. Somebody's gonna come back for that sucker. He's out there smoking, just using up resources. That's fine. The memory leak is what caused you to crash. Maybe some of those resources shouldn't be spent. Mm-hmm. This is what you do with the... Actually, this won't work because I'm a Sensor Shield 5. But if you knew that you're being tracked, you just do this, go back and forth. Say, hey, I'm here. You could shoot your gun, that will make it really apparent. Hey, and so they see you on, that will show me up. But the Sensor Shield won't, the gun will. So you just like boom, 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 boom. And then they won't figure that one out because you're like moving around. So you make a lot of... And so it freaks them out because they know there's enemy around but they can't find them. And so you go boom, 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 boom. This is like the technique that was used to make people aware that you're that there's a so there's a sniper up there who's like looking at this and trying to figure out what the heck I'm doing. I'm trying to distract him. This guy's trying to figure out what I'm doing. I know that I'm showing up on their radar and they're trying to figure out where I am. So I'm confusing them. I'm intentionally confusing them so that they don't know where to look. What I could do, this would be a lot of fun. Right here, my concussion grenade, or I think I got a concussion. Not sure. Do I have a concussion grenade? No, I have to smoke. That's what that is. can't believe he didn't get me the first time. I mean, the second time. Okay. How are we doing? A little better, maybe. A little worse. Wow, look down there. They're warp gating there. Yeah, but they don't have much time on it. The thing to do here... You know what? Oh, I'm deployed. That's the reason why that's happening. Well, the thing to do here is to move to Raxus. So let's move to Raxus, because that's one of the choke points. They won't be able to hold. What I could do is I could do something at Raven's Landing. Yeah, I think that would be better, because there's nobody at Raven's. And Raven's overlooks Araxis, and if they get Araxis, then people need to be spawning at Raven's. Or the Ascent. The Ascent would be a big one. So I just put a Sunday at the Ascent, and everybody spawns there, and they get things and go outward. So, I'll go here. There's nobody here, because they're not even showing up on the radar. There's a Sunday there. Why is all the Sunday... Did they have mines on there? Oh, that's probably the reason why. So, do that. One of my favorite places to stick Sundays is, it's right down here. In Vizzy Sundays, it makes a lot of sense to do this. And so you bring them up here. And come down the side and down here. And bring down here. And then deploy it. Deploy. And then I'll just go around as an infiltrator. Just have to do this someplace else. To keep the boat afloat. I mean, worst comes to worst, I just take an air vehicle from the gate and come out here and do the same thing, but you know. See, if they succeed in cutting us off down here, then we lose all of that, and then we can't even spawn on any of that, and then it just gets absorbed. So I'll just sit here and watch it, see what happens. See what the pop is there. It's a little, I could actually go down there and help them. That would be something to do. I'm going to just keep an eye out for seeing what my Sunday's doing. I wonder if I can access my Sunday from way down there. So there's so many people there, they won't even let you spawn there. That's a clue, you know. They will let you spawn if you wait long enough. You just gotta see. You just gotta wait it out, because eventually it'll let you spawn there, but it delays it. It'll delay it, and then eventually the button will appear. See, the thing is, they don't want too many people in one spot, because it causes their server a lot of problems. You see, now you see that the spot is offered, so now I can spawn there. What they're trying to do is they're trying to load balance. They're trying to make sure that the majority of Planetside is not in one hex, because then it'll crash the entire server. And it'll get really slouchy, and it'll get slow and lethargic. That's the reason why that happens, is because they can't really offer you that experience. It's just not possible. But they can offer like a 64 versus 64, 96 versus 96 game on any of the hexes. It's just they don't want to do it because it makes the gameplay unrealistic. So what they're trying to do is distract you into being all over the map. So they try to distribute. They try to get you to distribute, and they have certain ways of doing that. And one of them is to keep you from being able to spawn where there's a tremendous pop. And I think the other reason for that is because of the memory, because their memory problem causes people to crash. So it will be the end of their game if they all are there, pretty much. You gotta have reasons. You gotta have a reason for everything. And they gotta be plausible reasons. They can't just be any reason. They gotta be plausible. They gotta make sense. Okay. Mataraxis. I think I'm going to be a Max. I'm going to take out my Max suit and do some anti-air. Okay, there's a guy right there. It's one of our own. They're going to be coming from this end if they're from anywhere. There's a guy right there. I was still hitting that guy. It's a great thing I like about bursters. It doesn't matter where pretty much I mean, if you can see a flea of an air vehicle off in the distance, you can pretty much hit it with the bursters. We're helping Daybreak keep their servers load balanced. Us Maxes with bursters, double bursters. We're keeping Daybreak's servers from crashing. We're gonna crash because we're in the wrong place. We're with tons of people, but we're gonna keep their servers from crashing by keeping air vehicles out of the air that shouldn't be there. Because we don't want them being allocated in our space, leaking our memory so that we crash. We want them leaking memory in their area with them so that they'll crash, so that we will win because they crashed, because this stupid game crashes a lot. And, you know, see how that memory leak has just become a feature? It's awful. Truth, awful. I mean, it's not true. I don't know really what's causing the crash, but it's something like that. Because I know from experience, the more you're in areas where there's more people, two things are major truths. You're going to crash, and there are TKers, lots of TKers. So if TKing is a problem, just don't go to these crazy shindigs. Now that mosquito came out just to see if anybody was, you know, they test the waters, they test to see, okay, is there somebody there who really cares about me? And they come out and I shoot at them and say, oh, somebody really does care about me. Okay, I'm going to stay out that way, but I just really wanted to see if I'm here, if there really is somebody there for me. Yes, we're here for you. Just don't come here. We'll let you know that we care about you. We care that you're in our area. We just don't want you here. It's a different form of caring. It's tough love. It's that we love you. Just stay in your area. Don't come over here. Okay. See, that's ours. Is that ours? I don't know if that's ours. No, he's dead. Oh, I spot him. Look at that. Yeah, that wasn't ours. It looked like ours. He was kind of greenish. Maybe he's white, and my eyes are not playing tricks on me. And I've got two implants. One of the implants that I have is the one that whenever you die, it goes ha 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 ha, and you come back to life. It's the self-revive implant. I heard that after not having heard that in a long time the other day, and I had it on me. I had the implant, and some guy came by me and C4'd me, and I heard oh oh oh, and I was like, wow, that guy's got some really great voice pack. But then I came to realization I don't have it such that I could hear their voice packs. Oh, that's me that's making that noise. Oh, that's the implant that makes that noise. See, I'm spotting him from here. That's going to affect him. He's trying to get away from it, but he doesn't realize I'm over here. Now, he's probably somewhere on the ground. Make him the realization that I'm sitting up here doing this. I have a feeling he probably hopped out at the last minute. One thing that I don't think people ever do in this game is to spot people, and it's because you hear yourself spotting them, and then you become self-conscious that somebody's going to hear you spotting them. And the case is that people just don't listen to those voices that much. It's probably that they become cliche, so why even listen to them in the first place? You know, people are so used to hearing them that they've lost track. You know, no, I don't do that. I never run with squads unless I just do it voluntarily. It's not like somebody says, hey, can I look, if you got haters and somebody makes you a part of their squad, maybe that's so that they can come and kill you whenever they see fit. And that's another reason why I don't do it. 'Cause I got haters. I know they exist. I'm not out to let them take advantage of that. So I'll let them watch my video and they can hear me, and then they can listen to me and then say, well, is this somebody I really want to kill? You know, he seems to be a likable lad, and he's not all into himself, and at least that's what I hope I'm saying to them. But just like that guy that came in, and I was taking the flag earlier today, and throws up a Spitfire, and the Spitfire kills me. And it's just like this guy is like, this is part of the process. I know how to deal with this. Throws out a Spitfire, goes and takes the flag, and I'm like, ha 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 ha. It's like, I'm an engineer. I know how to deal with light assault, so I throw out a Spitfire and go take the flag. This has always worked for me. If this don't work, then I'll do it a second time. He probably really did think about it. He probably did see me, and he just thought, I don't really want to shoot at this guy. I'm going to make it easy. This guy, Nilsson, RJ, this is one of the best players in this game. This guy, he's been on this game forever. He's like one of the best players, and he's the best. He's like the best player that VS has, I think. If I see black. I forgot what his name, Black Z's. Black Z's was another one of the famous VS guys. But Nilsson's really good. He's good in air and he's good on the ground. I don't know the guy, I just know his name. I've come up against him. He's just one of those really good players, There's certain names you see all the time, and it's like Nilsson. You'll see that guy. I'm forgetting what his name is. There's this guy on TR that I see all the time, there's a guy on NC that I see all the time. Some good, some not so good, some, you know. I wonder if anybody asks him, do you like to sing the song "Me and My Arrow"? He says, "I'm not that Nilsson. That's a different Nilsson. That's Harry Nilsson. I'm not Harry Nilsson. I'm Nilsson RJ. I'm a different Nilsson." You know. Me and my arrow, do 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 do. Me and my arrow. Oh, they found a Sunday. Look at that. Where is it? Where is it? It's like hidden over there. Do you think when... See, the thing is that... Oh, that's ours. That's... Is it? Is that an NC? That might be an NC. No, that's one of ours. That's like mine or somebody's, you know. I think that's one of our regulars. I don't... There's nothing I can do here, is there? I can still spot air vehicles. Just not being very useful. I could go down there and mine some Corsham as an ant. I could take on the Invisi ant power and go out and get some Corsham, find somebody that's spawning people, then go Invisi and run them over. They're like, what just ran me over? Invisible ant. Invisible ant. Only in Planetside are ants fearsome creatures. I'm sure there are fearsome ants in the world, but usually the ants are the guys that are getting stepped on. So, there you go. I'm going to change out my clothes here. Go for the infiltrator. Because he can escape a wreckage unscathed and doesn't give the other guy the benefit of actually having gotten something. I'll get my ant out. Oh, actually, this is the wrong ant. Darn it. I want the Invisi ant. There's other ants to play with. There's the one that lets you go up hills, like really steep hills. So I'm going to take my ant. We're going to use this guy. And he's going to have a cobalt on him. And there's not much going to be great about this dude. He's going to have transport cloak. And we have to upgrade that sucker. So you got transport cloak. Yeah, somebody's coming in. Probably going to take over here. A second, I just want to set this guy up. Sounds like he's going away. Aha! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! I was trying to take control there. Okay. Controller. Probably some noise hit the thing. Vehicle stealth. Vehicle stealth is the that's something different. Yeah. Yeah, I'll just do a mine guard. So, and then do that. So, I'm just going to go with it, I think. Good enough. Good enough for me. Okay, this guy is a different beast. He doesn't have any scouting ability. And it's probably going to be more fun just to go down the back way. So we'll go out here. And if there's anything around, it would show in our hex, and it's nothing showing in our hex. There's nothing to be concerned about, really. So I'm gonna go down here And that's easy enough. That's how you get to the bottom from there without and there's some corsham over here that I could go and mine, so that I could go do some I could go do some stomping around on some others. I could repay all of the ants that got stepped on by stepping on other ants. People. Da-da, 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 da-da. Da-da, da-da. This is how you check if you see my cloak is going up. The more of this I get, then the more I can cloak. Okay. There you go. So the problem here is that I can't really tell where the people are, but if I knew where the people were, then it would be easy. Then I would be invisible, and then they couldn't see me coming. So maybe if I want to find out where the people are, then I can do that, and I can go around looking for them. So now I need to go find more corsham. Now I can't use it anymore, only unless I'm getting shot at. Should I use it now? So I might go out here and look to see if there's any more corsham. But this would be something good to do, you know, you just hang out here. I should have set up a different thing for this. No, I could do this, put that there, then I could see them coming at me. They were coming at me. I need to turn off the lights. Can't see anything in here. Ah, much better. need more control in the turret whenever it's like things are far off like that. Settings. Turret. I think it's scope sensitivity. Apply. Let's see if that affects it. Yeah, I think that was it. No, still doesn't feel right. Settings. Oh, aim sensitivity? Is that having an effect? Yeah, it's aim sensitivity. They're having more success over there. I think I'm going to go over there and use that strategy. This guy has the same idea as I do. Oh, yeah. See what's going on, and we're getting more land, I guess. I'm not sure. I'm gonna make a modification on my vehicle. And I think I'll do this first. Make it so there's only one way in. I wonder if I can just put this there. So maybe they'll think of Christmas whenever they think about getting me while I'm looking at my... Nah, they probably won't. Night vision, threat detection objects. So what we would use? I'll just... With this brand of implants that I've got on, you don't want to shoot me because you're going to get spot easily. That's what there's a counterintelligence implant. It means if somebody shoots at you, they get instantly spotted. And if somebody spots you, then you know that they spotted you. And it's hardly ever the case that people spot people, you know. You almost never see somebody spotting somebody. I never see the red eye. That's how I know that I've been spotted. But you almost never see it, which means that people don't often spot for other people in this game. They're really not concerned about the enemy. They don't even bother, even when they know they could spot somebody that, and they could get some XP off it, they don't do it. Why is that? So I'd always wonder, you know, there's things in the world and I just go, why is that? You know, I would do it. I would do it for the other guys so that they would know to watch out for the sucker, because there's somebody up there doing that. Here's a Colossus. We gotta watch out for this guy. Hello, Colossus. Just hello. Yeah, I'm an invisible ant. I'm not so invisible now because I haven't like gotten any Corsham in me. But when I get some Corsham, I'll be invisible. And all the other guys are like, big deal. Like, yeah, I know. I could be a scout. That would be much more valuable to you guys, and I'm not that right now. I just decided I'd try to do something with Corsham, and you know, because it's worth something, and you know, to keep mining it, and if you can mine it and you use it for something, you go over here and get some Corsham. Taking Corsham stop. Corsham, Corsham, I view Corsham. Thank you, Corsham, for being there for me. So now I can go invisible, be invisible, ant. I can do this. Yeah, okay. Any more of that stuff around? There should be a passive that you should be able to add to your character they don't have, and that is the ability to find Corsham from very far off. Okay, there's something funky going on here. I saw something kind of strange there for a second, and it disappeared. It's like, what's going on there? Now you can't see this, but I've got a black spot in the center of my screen. I put it there to let myself know where the center of where my aim at is, so that if I see somebody, I can spot them no matter what mode I'm in. If I'm using an ant or whatever, if I'm flying around, I got my C4 out, I can still spot people, because the game doesn't always tell you where the center of the screen is, and they know that if you spot someone, it's got to be on center, you know. So there are people out there that they're playing this like me that have a little piece of Scotch tape with some magic marker on it to let them know where the center of the screen is, so they don't have to. Some have figured out other ways to put it in there, but you know. Oh wow, I can turn the lights on. Look at that. It only lets you do that whenever it's like so dark. They should be able to see in this. Well, you can't get through there until they get rid of the stupid barrier. Otherwise, I'm just going to stay out here. See, the tanks can't come in until somebody gets rid of that generator. Sundays can. Ants and the tanks can't do anything. What I could do is I could go to the next base over and convert the terminal over there, because the ants have the ability to go up the sides of hills. And so probably go to Michaela Cart, go over here, and it's even nicer when you already have that ability to, that turbo ability, to go right up the side of the. See, that would be more valuable here. this might work. Maybe not. Maybe it'll work somewhere up the road. Maybe up here. I'll go up a little further up the road here. I'll try it again. Right here it probably worked. So I'll go right there. And I have to really try it. Let's see. No. It's not really working, is it? Maybe if I made a run at it, maybe I put all my momentum into it. I think I can go up this one and then I'm going to go across and over. That would probably work more. I know that that goes there, so I've come out this way before. Go it this way, that way, down, and yeah. So that's something about Planetside, is that if you use it enough, you can figure out how to get anywhere pretty much, as long as you feel like you should be able to do it. So I got in through the gate, so to say. Look at that. Might enforce it or find something out here. So I can see. Okay, I'm gonna put a come over here and help them in their effort. Let's see. Engineer. Let's do this. Because I'm pretty sure we'll see one of these coming along. So what we do is we put some mines out here, make it just a little more difficult for them to come out here and do what they're probably going to do, which is oh, sorry. Nobody in the hex. I don't know why that doesn't surprise me. Probably went back here to get a vehicle. Sorry. Just had to check. Just had to check. Just checking. Just checking. Sorry. Sorry. Oh, probably should have just tapped it rather than do a long drawn out thing. I thought it was going to be the enemy. Well, the thing that you do here, if this is the problem you got, well, you put that there temporarily. Then you go over to here. We put no hack on it. That's how you solve that problem. So you go over here, do that. Get a mine, stick it over there. Come back, get some more. So I put one there, and then you go back and you get another. Get a couple tank mines, 2 or 3 tank mines. If he sees you doing this, then it's like, oh crap, this guy knows what to do. He might try to get rid of you right then and there. But I still have my vehicle too, and so I really don't need the terminal. So 1, 2, 3, and then I just leave it. Get in my car and go. The no hack is set up. No need for it. You can go ahead and if that was for me, let's go right over it. See if it does anything. No. So we'll see if he finds a way of getting his. He might be able to get in an air vehicle if that's what he wants. That's probably what he's going to have to do. Because he's sure not getting a tank, that's for sure. You're not getting any. You're going to have to do something special. Hey. Oh. Keep shooting me. Keep shooting me. It's just showing you up. Just showing you up. Do it. Come on. Shoot me more. Hey, how about me? How about now? You want to try it? You want to try it again? You want me to come over here and see what we can do about that? Like, yeah, I can run over. I could have done that. See, that's what an Invisiant can show you. Not only that, yeah, big deal. What is going on over here? Did they take our base? No, they didn't do it. Okay, I got I'm an NG, so I should be able to fix this. See how effective that was? The guy didn't see it coming. He's like, what the heck's going on? Got run over by an invisible ant. They're expecting to be able to do something, then they get taught. That's the great thing about this game is you don't see it coming. There's all sorts of stuff people got up their sleeve. You don't see it coming. That's what draws people to the game, is that just the noobs that will shoot at anything, and then something comes and takes them for a ride, and then they're like, whoa! Element of surprise. Okay. Got some of that going here too. See, I got a little bit of cloak. I need more cloak. I don't know if this has got anything in it. I'll just check it out. Because there wasn't much in it when I left it. There's still some. Probably enough for a full tank. Okay, wow, and they didn't take it out. Whoever's going to go up to that, they're going to realize it doesn't have much in it. Pretty much got everything out of it. I don't like it when people do that to me, but you know, I can't really control that because I got enough. Got too much. In some extent. Somebody's trying to take that base. I guess I could go over there and figure out where their Sunday is. I can't really get rid of it. I'm not the right type of guy to do that. Maybe just let the faction know what's going on. See where the Sunday is. They probably just jump jetted up the little available area there. Thing, see if I can go up there. Go with that. I've done it. I know it's possible. Maybe not. Maybe if he did it running. Okay, there we go. I knew it could be done. Huh. Huh. Is there something going on in here? What are you planning to do with that thing? Huh. Oh. See, that's what you do. And see, I'm a professional player, and I could just like beat up on these guys. He would succeed. He'd probably succeed anyhow. But if nobody comes to rescue, I'm just like, you know, if the cavalry's not coming, well, screw it. I'll just let you have it because it's their own damn fault. They didn't come to get it. They just thought I could do it. What am I? I can do all this job? No. I mean, I could. But if nobody's going to come to the call, then why should I? Why should I defend it? There's some people that are like that, you know. They need somebody else to be there, you know. And if nobody shows up, then it's like, damn. Well, I guess I'm not there either, you know. There's something that Jesus said where any two of you are, there I am. See. So, or any two of you got the word, I'm there with you. See? And so if I'm there and there's nobody of the other guys there, who am I with? I'm with this other guy and we're there, but our team's not there. It's between us, you know? And I just like you say, you know, I'll let you have it because my team's not here. It's their fault for not being here. I'm not gonna hold down the fort myself. That's them being irresponsible. I'm just going to be here and let you have it, you know. That's not what you do in war, but it's this thing in war. This is a game, and you know, if you want to be nice to someone, that would be a nice way. That would be a way of being nice to the enemy. Is just kind of let them. You know, they really hoped, they really wanted it, they really tried for it, they did it themselves. You know, I'm not gonna squash that spirit. I'm gonna let them do it. I mean, that guy really went out on a limb to get this base, and he could have gotten pretty far there if I hadn't shown up, you know. But I'm not always nice like that. The day was just different, you know. Today I just don't know what's going through my head, you know. Some days I'm just kind of like I'll take anything or get it. Some days I'm just like, you know, I show a little pity, you know. Just let go somebody else's way, just, you know, because just to let people know that I'm not going to do all the work for the, you know, if something's going to fail, if it's looking like it's going to fail and it's going to fail for just one guy, I'm just going to let it fail for one guy because it just shows that the entire team's not really they don't really have it together. They're not covering all the bases. They need to. You'd be thinking about all those bases that are out there that aren't being covered. Because that's where I look for the security holes. That's where I'm at. Is I'm just like looking for all the uncovered bases. I'm looking for the black areas. That's where I shoot for to get spawn out my Sunday. It may not always be the case that it gets used, but you know. You think you can do this again? Watch. Think you know where I'm at now? This guy probably knows because he probably sees me on the well, no, there, no. Well, no, you want to go? I think I got both of them, didn't I? I got both of those guys. No. That's the problem with thinking you know what's going on. Yeah, there it goes. And then I go and do this again. Let's see if I do it this time. He just changed his whole world for him. It's like a vehicle just came up and ran over me. He wasn't expecting that. Okay, I'm out of here. Let's get to the next level. I need to restart the game. Alright. So I guess I'm gonna restart.